Veronica. Cool.
And Janie, do we want to go ahead and put the form in the chat now as well?
Yeah. Do you have the link for that?
I can do it.
Okay.
Hey, it's Mayan.
Awesome. Hi, Mayan. Mayan McDermott is from Breakout EDU. She'll be joining us today, and she's going to put a link in the chat, just did. So if you head into the chat and see the link shared by Mayan McDermott, if you fill out that form, it's just going to ask for your name and your site, maybe email address. And once you submit your form, Mayan will email you your access code. We have 20 codes available, so the first 20 teachers to fill out that form in the chat will get an access code.
I'm going to paste it one more time. Not sure if Kathy was in here when it got posted.
Welcome, Kathy.
And yeah, we'll get started in a couple minutes. Hi, Allison. I'm going to add a link in the chat here so you can fill it out and get your code for your 1-year subscription to Breakout. Thank you. And here's a link to the Pear Deck too. I'll give it another minute or so.
And I'll post the link to our form one more time. I think David just arrived. Make sure you're filling out the form in the chat so you can get an access code for a 12-month subscription. If you just joined, make sure to find the link to the form in the chat. Filling out the form is what will get you emailed an access code from Mayan McDermott. You'll look for an email from Mayan at Breakout EDU, and that will include your access code. Just hold on to the email and we will show you what to do with that access code during this session.
And also here's the link to our Pear Deck. All righty. What do you think, Kate? Should we get started?
Let's see, we've got 12. I say let's give it another minute.
Okay.
Thanks for your patience, everybody.
And if you feel like doing some drawing, go ahead and fill out our warm-up activity.
I can't say if I suggested more time for people to join or more time for me to finish my drawing. And it looks like Tara just joined. Tara, make sure you go to the chat to find the form so that you can submit that form to get an access code to Breakout EDU. Once you submit the form, you will get an email from Mayan at Breakout EDU.
And I'll paste that Pear Deck link one more time. But yeah, I think we should get started. Let's see here. So go ahead and in the Pear Deck, if you're in there, go ahead and drag the icon to have you played Breakout EDU before? How familiar are you with it? Oh, and I'll have to go back to the other slide and check out those drawings too. So I'll give you guys a second to just move your icon. Let me check out some of those responses. All right, so it looks like kind of half and half. Some of you have used it. Some of you maybe used it once or twice, and some have never used it. And then we just added this little warm-up just for fun, just, you know, to show an example of what you could do. Well, this is a nice one. Kind of maybe a difficult day today, long day. And you can just see the different views here. Like here, you could scroll around and just see how everybody's doing. And, you know, add any kind of fun little activity for people to do. Looks like for the most part, people are doing okay today. Maybe, hopefully after this training, it'll be a lot better. A little bit, oh, here's another one. Have you ever been to an escape room before? Like in real life, an escape room? Let us know on this multiple choice question. Okay, it looks like a couple people have been to an escape room. I have not, but seems like a fun activity now that I'm familiar with Breakout EDU. I want to see if I've gotten better at escape rooms. So what is Breakout EDU? Basically, there are different activities like puzzles that students can solve in order to break out, and it could be digital or with a kit, and they cover a lot of skills. So we have this little graphic here, digital versus the physical kits, and today we'll focus on just digital because it's easy to do remotely, but also you can do it in the classroom. There are a few sites, I think it was 6, that have the physical kits. And maybe when we go back in the classroom, you know, people can use them more. And we also support people with the kits. So later on, if you want to learn more about using the kits, let us know. But all of the games really focus on skills like the 4 C's: communication between students, collaborating to solve the problems, critical thinking. And with that critical thinking goes the growth mindset. So we really promote, you know, talking about growth mindset with your students, and you know, not being afraid to try things out and, you know, have a guess at what the answer is. And then also creativity goes with that problem solving as well. And again, it's, yeah, about the journey, not the prize. I know when we had the physical kits, a lot of students would be like, where's my chocolate or whatever when they break out. But, you know, you could, we'll give you guys some ideas about what some prizes could be for digital and for the physical kits. The digital lessons are easy prep. Everything's already done for you. You just find an activity you like and share it. Versus the physical, there's a lot of prep work. I know I would like laminate things so they could be reused, but digital is pretty fun and easy to use, and you can access from anywhere. Any questions so far? And at any time during this, you know, feel free to unmute and ask questions, or you could type in the chat as well. Some tips. So what we're going to do today is you're going to get the student experience first. we'll work through a game, just like pretty quick, 15 minutes. And then we'll show you guys some options as far as how to find games and how to create your own clues. But first, these are some tips that we give. Read when students are trying to solve the problems, read all the directions, read them again, right? Think about, just like when you're reading a text, what stands out to you? Maybe there's bold print, maybe something's repeated, maybe something's bigger or in all caps. And definitely use scratch paper or a whiteboard if you have one, or even like Jamboard. Maybe you want to collaborate. Maybe there's a Jamboard for each group, or maybe the students just make their own, just so that they have a place to think out their clues and their puzzles. Look for patterns, and don't be scared to take a guess. Work with your team. Definitely, when we've been in the classroom and observed students using the physical kits, that's definitely something where we've noticed they need to grow sometimes. Sometimes students want to solve it all by themselves, and so it takes time teaching them. You can rely on other students, work together. And maybe when you do solve a problem, maybe don't just tell everyone the answer. Maybe somebody wants to try and figure it out on their own. You could give them a hint. Or like, for example, if a whole group finishes, in the classroom, they could go around and give hints, but not just say the answer or explain how they got it. And then usually with the physical kits, there's actual cards that they get where you have two possible hints. You can give the teacher a card if you want a hint. But since it's only two, right, they sometimes don't want to use any of them. They're like, wait, but what if I get stuck later? And so even with the digital ones, you could set a limit of like, okay, I'll give you 2 hints or 3 hints, depending on the age of the students, I would say. So anyway, let's get ready to play. So first, just what do the clues look like? So we're not going to do this specific puzzle, but they are organized like this, where you have a story, and so it sets the stage for the activity. And so if you're doing it with the whole class, the teacher could read this, or maybe each group. In each breakout room, you could have one student project their screen, and then they can read it to the group. And then you have different locks. And some activities you can click on whichever one, and it could start anywhere. Some of them make you work through the first puzzle, and then you unlock the second. Here's what one of the clues might look like. So sometimes it's just a picture, sometimes there's text. And so you might need to kind of look here, and it doesn't exactly tell you, right, what you're looking for. The only obvious clue I have is this is a color. So I'm gonna need some kind of color combination, and then try to figure out, what does this have to do with? Was it the words? Is it the numbers? How do I know what order the colors are gonna be in? But I won't make you guys solve this one because we're gonna do our own activity right now. And so I think, Kate, we're gonna get into breakout rooms, or would you rather we do this all together based on how many people we have?
I think with 2 groups that breakout rooms would be perfect. We can have 2 small groups going. I see a couple folks just arrived, so just want to post in the chat one more time.
Cool.
We have 2 links that we're sharing. If you just arrived, there's a form that you'll need to fill out in order to get your access code for Breakout EDU. So make sure you do that. Click on the link to the form in the chat. Once you submit, you'll get an email from Mayan at Breakout EDU. There's also a link in there to our pair deck if you want to follow along on that. But we're about to start our breakout, so you can skip the pair deck probably.
And since we're going to break out, we put some directions here. What do you do when you finish, if you finish early? If you solve the puzzle early while you wait for others to figure it out, think about how you'd make it better. How could it be more challenging? Or what's a new block that you might add? What's a new puzzle that you might add?
All right. I've got 2 breakout groups ready to go. Got Janie in one and Mayan in another, and I'll pop in to each one as well. So I'll let Janie share the code for the game before I open the rooms.
Whoopsie, clicked on it. I was trying to just, yes, that works too. Yeah, in the Pear Deck, you can just click on the picture on that slide, but I'll also just copy the link up here and put it in the chat in case you wanted to open it that way. And so we're solving this to the moon, Katherine Johnson. And once you click on it, you'll notice that there's a timer up here. And then with this puzzle, you can click on the different, you don't have to go in order. And that's that. So whenever you're ready, Kate, we'll break out into our rooms.
All right, here we go.
Okay. All right, is everybody back?
Almost.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I think we got everybody now.
Okay, I just wanted to share a quick tip that I shared in my group. So one thing you might consider when you're working through some of these puzzles is using an extension to draw on the web. So for example, I have web paint, and let me clear that. But basically, as you're reading through clues and talking with your group, you could say, does anyone notice anything here? And someone might point out, oh, there's a missing answer here. And so you'd be like, okay, it has something to do with the day, and then just be scribbling on there as you work it out together. So that's web paint, and I added the link at the end of our presentation. And then the other thing that was fun was, you guys can see my whole screen, right?
Yeah.
I shared the soundboard, and so maybe as they solve this problem, oops, I forgot to turn off the drawing tool. Come on. It's not cooperating with me. Well, anyway, I'll just show it. Once they finish, maybe I want to do some applause or something. So here's a cheer, and then, oh, you solved the problem, cool, and then there's a confetti extension too. So you could use those kind of fun tools just to get in the spirit of the game. And that was it. So I'll stop sharing.
All right. I believe there is a debrief activity in the Pear Deck. So if you if you still have the Pear Deck open,
Oh,
it
yeah.
will guide you to the Breakout EDU website to explore some of their resources for helping students debrief.
Yeah.
In case
And
you
then
don't.
there was one other slide before that one, just like drag to the emoji, how are you feeling? And so that might be something you do with your students, after the activity, like you could just check in and be like, how do you feel? Oh, what was hard about that activity? What did you enjoy about that activity? Like based on how they say they're feeling. And then, yeah, Kate showed those cards. There's a link to them. Like if you have the physical kit, there's, cards you could read as discussion cards, basically, that have similar questions. But there's a link. If you click on this, you'll get a link to the PDF with all the questions. So that might be something you share with your students. And that was it.
All right, sweet. Just some ideas for debriefing. Moving on, so you got the student experience, and the next part of the session is going to be showing you how to sign up with the access code you got, how to search for games. Even if your colleagues don't have an access code, they'll still be able to access the platform and find some free digital games. So if you want to host a little breakout session with your grade level team or your department and show them the awesomeness of Breakout, they can play too. But you'll have more games at your disposal with the access code. So I'll show you how to search for games and bookmark them, how you can copy and modify games that you like and add in specific questions or specific graphics that will appeal to your students, how you can create your very own digital games from scratch. We'll touch on that, and even how you can assign the games asynchronously and see student results in the platform. So that's the basics of what we're going to go over next. To activate your subscription, let's head over to platform.breakout.edu. So the directions at the top there. Step 1, go to platform.breakoutedu.com. I can put that in the chat. And the slide that I'm showing right now is for if you do not already have an account, you click sign up. If you do already have an account, you can hover over log in and select teacher. I always suggest doing that anyway. You might not be aware that you have an account. It's been so long since you used it. And if you don't, it'll just direct you to sign up. Once you follow the process to log in, you'll land on a page that looks like this. And until you've added your access code, it will just say red upgrade here. So just want to give a second for everyone to either sign up or log in. Once you've gotten to this screen and you see that upgrade button, just type Y or yes in the chat so we know you're ready to move on. And feel free to unmute if you've gotten stuck anywhere or if you don't have an access code. So once you're logged in and your screen is looking like mine, just give us a Y or yes in the chat.
So is it Maya or Kate? Looks like I do have an account, but it says I need to renew.
Okay, perfect. The access code will be good for renewal as well.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Kathy. All right, it looks like we've got 3 or 4 people ready. If like Kathy, you've got an account, but it says you need to renew, you're just fine. You can put a Y or yes in the chat. Once you're logged in, we can get you upgraded or renewed. I want to check in and see David, Allison, Jeffrey, or no, sorry, Allison, I've got your yes. Sorry.
Kate, where do I put in the code again?
I haven't gotten there yet. Just waiting for people to be logged in, and it will
I'm
say.
working on it, Kate.
Okay, cool. Once you're logged in, we'll get you to the place where you put in the code. Just for the sake of time, though, I'm going to move ahead, and we'll just catch up with those of you who haven't gotten there yet. Once you're logged in, if you click on My Account, you will see an upgrade option in that drop-down menu. Click on Upgrade. Oh, that's what I did last time. Let me try just clicking on the red upgrade button. Maybe that one will get me somewhere else.
I just clicked on my account.
Thank you. Let's try that.
And it took me to
From the My Account drop down, if you just select My Account, that's where you go. Thank you. I love it when people unmute and help me out. Down at the bottom, apply access code. Once you click there, just paste that access code and click enter. So again, it's that My Account drop down. Select My Account. And once you're logged in with that access and you've entered that access code, you'll no longer see that upgrade option up by My Account. And you'll see a lot more options from the drop-down menu. You see I have my bookmarked games, create a class. Those options you'll see once you've upgraded. All right. So please feel free to ask in the chat if you have any questions about logging in. Mayan and Janie are both checking the chat, and they can let me know if I need to stop and help.
So this is Tara. I'm getting to the Chrome store for Breakout Edu, and then then it asks me to purchase. Is that the wrong spot?
Yeah, you shouldn't need to go to the Chrome store, just platform.breakoutedu.com.
I just followed your link, and that's where it took me. So let me try again.
Yeah, and what I put in the chat isn't exactly linked, but if you copy and paste it,
I
should
see.
help you out. So we're going to go ahead and start searching for games. Once you are logged in and upgraded, clicking on the platform option from the tabs at the top brings you into where you search for games. It's probably where you land by default anyhow. And in this search field here, you can type in keywords. You can open the filter to get a lot of options and maybe search by your grade level. Say I want to search for 5th grade science breakouts. And then one important thing is up here at the top, you can decide if you want to see just digital games, just kit games, or all. And right now, I know I'm only going to be wanting to see the digital games. Right, then you click go, and that will filter your results. Another way of finding games that I really like is to get like a whole page of games. Let's see if I uncheck these, if I can close it out. To get a whole page of, oh, yes, someone has the
Oh,
question.
I was just going to let you know, just hit that filter button again and it'll pull it back up.
Thanks, Mayan. A way to find like a whole page, a PDF of links like I have here on the slide deck in this step number 3, shows like this list of digital games. I got to that by first selecting my subject area from these tiles down here. I said I want a math game, and then I selected 3rd grade, and that gives me this PDF of all the math 3rd grade games. And it even has the standards on the side and has them sorted by
We
strand.
can't see it if
Oh.
you're showing one.
Thank you. That one tab share always gets me. So here's the PDF, and it's got, you know, the standards on the right. Each colored section is a different strand, and then it's delineated by digital or kit required games. So if I know I'm looking for a geometry game for 3rd grade, I've got these 2 digital games to choose from, right? And so let's say I want to check this game out. I can click on the link. And are you seeing my Your Hired game? Thank you. This is what the page for each game looks like. It gives you the content area, grade level, standards, the story. And then I know David was asking, like, is there an answer key for the teachers? You know, to find out if a game will work for your students, you'll definitely want to either play it yourself, which you can play any digital game just by clicking the play game button, or you can open the game explanation. And this kind of explains how they're going to answer each one, but then the lock combinations are here. So the exact answers to open each lock are right there. I always recommend like looking at the game. So I might click play game and just see what the locks are asking my students to do and read the question. And then rather than trying to figure it out all by myself for the sake of time, right, I'll usually just look at the question and then close it come back and see, okay, what was the answer to that one, and how are they supposed to figure it out? Oh, they were supposed to give the customers their jewels based on what they're saying. So that really helps me wrap my head around what are the students being asked to do, and do I think they'll be able to do it with the skills that they have, or are we not there yet? I also always think about what are some of the hints that I might provide my students in this game, or where do I think they'll have struggles? So if I look at this game and I think, okay, it's awesome as it is and I want to use it, or maybe I want to make some changes, you can bookmark the game by clicking that little icon up there by the game's title, and when it's blue, it's bookmarked. And then you can save as many games as you want in your bookmarks, and when you want to see those, you just go to My Account and go to My Bookmarked Games. I want to give you a little bit of time right now. I had said 5 minutes, but I think we're going to shorten that down to 2 to look for some games and bookmark them. So just take some time to search through the platform and bookmark some games.
Kate,
Yes.
it's Mayan. I'll just say that also you can, if you see that rotating bar up at the top, that's it's got the Explore Mission to Mars, that starter games button when it comes back around, those are good starter games for like the first time you play breakout games with your students. Sometimes they're a bit more team building games, but it kind of gets kids in the mood to understand what they're looking for and kind of like how breakout works. So those starter games are also a good place to start.
Is it mixed, like kit and digital suggestions?
The starter games, that's a good question. Let me click
Click
through
on
it
it, Kate,
and
just-
take a look.
Can I ask a quick question really fast? Every time I'm looking for a game, it's asking me to put in my information, like what I teach and the name of my school and all that.
If you
It's asking me that just X out of it.
did you just put it in once and it will never ask you again?
I've done it now like 3 times, I feel
Oh,
like.
really?
Yeah, that happened
Yeah.
to us last week, and it was when I was on my free account. But did you enter your access code already?
I did. Yeah, it's not saying update. Let me go to my account. Let me just see.
Yeah, if you see any that look locked, any games that look locked, then their access code hasn't gone through. But yeah, with my free account, every time I loaded a new page, I got that pop up, and like I had to X out, or I entered the info like 5 times.
How do I know what level my account is?
If you go to My Account and
Yeah,
select
right
My
now.
Account, then it says,
Yep.
if you look at the screen I'm sharing, it should show you right here when your platform access expires. If it does not show you that, then...
Sorry.
We just see the platform search page.
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in my account. It doesn't... My account.
If you don't see that there, then I would apply your access code again.
I don't know. Okay. Oh, apply. Okay, I'll try it again. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
To answer those questions about the starter games, they're all digital starter games.
Oh, good to know. And at the end of our slides somewhere, we put games that we've tested that we recommend per grade level.
So I hope you've had, I hope you've had a moment to bookmark a couple games or check out some of those starter games. At least you know where they are, so you can explore some more later. Let's talk about copying and editing games. So I'm going to head, would you please mute your mic? I'm going to head over to my bookmarked games. And here's that game, You're Hired, that I bookmarked a moment ago. I'm going to click to open that one. And let's say that as I was looking through it, it's a good geometry game. It has my students work with quadrilaterals. And one thing that I like is that, or one thing that it's missing is maybe it didn't ask a question about triangles. And we've been studying forms of triangles. So I think I want to copy and edit this game. So just clicking copy takes a moment to produce a copy but then you can access that in My Digital Games. Digital games are the only ones that can be copied. I could just click View Copied Games, or again, you could go to My Digital Games here. But now I have my copy, and it's titled Your Hired Copy. And if I want to make some changes to it, I can go right over here to this Edit button. So I'm going to edit this game. You'll notice when you edit a digital game, you've got a lot of options. The first thing I want to point out is the autosave toggle. I recommend turning on autosave while you're working on editing a game. And I can change the title of the game. It gives me a warning. It wants me to only use letters, numbers, and certain characters in the title. I can change the description. I can choose whether I want it to be non-sequential or sequential, meaning either students can open those locks in any order that they want, or they have to work 1, 2, 3. You see this game has 4 locks. It's a number, color, and directional, but I can add more locks. I can change the background image, the end of game reveal. This is the standard, this is the end of game reveal that came with this game. It's got all the jewels and We Broke Out. And I can also add a timer. And that's what I did with the one we did today. I gave us a 15-minute timer, but you can set the time there. So I want to show you a few different things here. Definitely how you can add a question and end of game reveal. I know we are short on time, so I'm going to try to go quickly here through the editor. Let's say I want to add a new lock. I can choose what kind of lock I want. Let's say I want a color lock. And then for your clues, you can bring in a clue. A great place to make clues is in Google Slides or Google Drawings. And I have prepared a clue that I made. Let me go to Stop Presenting and go to my whole screen. Oh, and this is a different, okay. I'm going to find my drawing that I made just to give you an idea of how you add these in. I had a drawing about triangles. So I just drew some triangle shapes. I uploaded an image of some shelving to make it look like a jewelry store to fit the theme of the game. And I wanted my students to identify the triangles. I put the word right in bold, big letters because I want them to identify just the right triangles on this shelf. When they find those right triangles, now they can either put those in color order because I've got colors on each triangle, or they can put shapes. So I made this challenging question. I added a rainbow to give them a hint as to the color order of the shapes. So it's just some different options for giving some clues using those shapes or colors. If you create a clue in drawings or in slides, you just want to download that as either a JPEG or PNG image. I'm going to go ahead and download that image here. And then I'm going to go back to my game. And let's say I want to put this image in as my clue. So I click on image and I can drag and drop my image file here. I can't drag and drop it from the other window though, can I? Let's see, what if I move this one over here? There we go. Oops. Okay, so I can just drag and drop an image file. I could also use just text as my clue. I mean, for simple clues to start out, you could even have them unscramble a word where your text clue is just a slide that you put a scrambled word on. It can be that simple. But this is just, the next step is maybe creating a clue in slides or drawings. And then obviously you put in the combination that is the answer And I'm going to go ahead and save that one as a draft. Actually, I'm going to cancel because it takes a moment to save. It also takes a moment to delete. I wanted to show you how you can add some end of game fun for students, end of game reveal. So
I don't know if I missed it, but did you show how to delete a lock?
I did not. Let me head back. I'm going to go into edit again for the end of game reveal so I can also show that. So I was just deleting the lock that I was working on, but any lock that you want to delete, you can just select it from the locks at the top and then scroll down to the bottom to delete it.
So that's one time saver. Like if you're doing this for the first time with your students, maybe you only want to do 1 or 2 locks. You could pick the 2 best clues.
Awesome. Good. That way they can get to the end in less time, right? In the Edit Game Info tab, that's where you can put in an end of game reveal. And we've included on our slide deck some possible end of game reveals. Let me skip to this slide here. These links here take you to some places where you can just get a fun link that's kind of plug and play for your students. These links over here are more skills that routines you'd want to develop. Maybe if you've been using Flipgrid for students to record reflections on lessons, you can link them to Flipgrid. A couple other ideas there, but I'll just show you one example. We have an hour of code game here called Dragon Blast. And when students come, they just click play now and they can play through this video game that practices different programming skills. If you want to make this your end of game reveal that your students can go play Dragon Blast, you can just copy the link. And then in your end of game reveal, your students, let's see, I want to put my end of game reveal right here. And right now it's this one, but maybe I want to select a file from my computer. And I think when I've done this before, I chose the text as the end of game reveal. And I just pasted my link right in there. However, when my students try to view it, it's not clickable on their end. So what I suggest is using a link shortener like bit.ly. And we've also linked that on the slide deck here. Oops, I thought I had linked bit.ly somewhere. Oh, right here. So it just makes a shorter link. So if you just paste in your link at bit.ly, then it's something short that your students will be able to type in rather than needing to be able to click on it. So with using bit.ly, you can put any of these, Chrome Music Lab, Incredibox, some of these fun websites for students to explore when they finish a game. I know we only have a couple minutes left, so I'm going to kind of scan through our slides here, and Janie, Mayan, feel free to chime in, see what we're missing.
Just the other idea for, like, instead of adding a bit.ly, maybe you could add a QR code, since now that's a option in the Chrome browser. When you go to any website, you can up at the URL bar. But students would need another device, right, to scan it. So maybe that would work more for like secondary.
Thank you, Janie. And I'll just show where that is here on that Dragon Blast site. Up in my URL bar, I've got the star for starring or bookmarking, but right next to that is a QR code generator for most any website. And that just gives you a QR code that you can download, and your students can scan it to find whatever game you want to share. For next level, there is the Create a Class beta, and creating new games where you can create a full game from scratch. In Create a Class, I'll just show you some of our classes we've created. It gives you a class code.
We're just looking at the Dragon Blast.
Thank you, Janie.
Sure.
I went to my account, and there's the Create a Class beta, and there's Create New Games. And from Create a Class beta, this is where you can just create a class with the title, and it'll give you some student sign-up instructions, but I've given you sort of a cheat sheet in the slide deck for how to have students sign up. But once they do, there's a little bit of data that you get back. It'll show you how the student progressed. And let me just share the slides that have that.
And I'll just quickly add, if you do add students into your class, they'll have access to make games themselves, which teachers have been using to do like an end of unit assessment, allowing students to make a game that their classmates can play. So that's also a really great benefit of having students in the platform.
Thank you, Mayan. So here on slide 32 is an example of the kind of data that you get back. So if you look down here at the bottom, it just shows that the percentage completed, the student's name, the time it took them to complete if they got to 100%, and the date. So it doesn't really give you a lot of info as far as where the student was struggling. To get that info, you really got to be there playing it with the students or dropping into their breakout room to see and hear what they're talking about. But if you do want to assign independent work like this and see if they were able to complete it, doing Create a Class is a great way to do that.
I did get some updated info about the kits. So we put on our list district STEM kit checkout, but at the end of the year last year, we gave them away to people who had been using them. So maybe in the future, maybe we'll start that checkout system again. But for now, those sites have it, and if any sites would like to purchase, we could always help them out and purchasing a physical kit. Most of them come with six of what you see on the slide there, 6 boxes, and then like multiple locks for each one. But it's definitely a different experience. Kids get to look all around the room for clues, and yeah, it's pretty fun.
Right. Well, I know we are over time now, so I just want to thank you all.